Good evening and welcome to A Cook's Tour and this very special wine tasting segment with Le Cave de Pérenne. Now, sadly, Phil Barnett cannot be here this evening, but I did manage to catch up with him a few days ago where he talked us through the delicious wines that we're tasting with tonight's menu. Well, here we are at Terroir, a fabulous restaurant down in East Dulwich in London, and thrilled to be joined by Phil Barnett from Le Cave de Pérenne. Hi, Phil.
Nice to see you, Charlie. Nice to be here.
Well, it's great to be here, and I'm so delighted that we're in this wonderful establishment, and after this tasting I'm looking forward to tucking into a few plates of their delicious food. So, Phil, you come armed with 3 lovely bottles of Catalonian wine.
3 interesting bottles, one of which is probably quite known to people because it's a Cava, which I think is probably the best known wine that comes out of Catalonia, the sparkling wine that is not made in the same way that champagne is made. Then we have a still white wine made from a local grape variety, and we've got a slightly unusual red wine that's made from just up in the foothills of an area called Priorat.
Okay, tell us a little bit about sort of wines from Catalonia. Is there anything particular about the terroir or the climate or the grape varieties that we should be aware of?
The grape varieties tend, certainly of the white wines, the grape varieties tend to be fairly typical of the area. I mean, they do plant others, but the most notable wines are made from their local grape varieties, such as white wine, there's one called Churro, which this is made from, paella and Macabeo are the 3 main white grape varieties. And then when you get to the red wines, a lot of the interesting red wines come from in the foothills of the mountains and higher up in the mountains, and the most used grape variety is Grenache, that the Spaniards call Garnacha.
That's Grenache, that's in the south of France, isn't it, as well? So you sort of feel it along the Mediterranean coast.
It loves the heat. Garnacha does well in the sun.
My kind of grape.
Absolutely. It's not quite like English tourists baking out in the sun, just lapping it up, but it does well in the heat and it produces interesting wines.
Fabulous. Well, where should we start? Where would you suggest?
I would have thought to start with the Cava.
Yes.
Always good to start with bubbles.
Plenty of bubbles too.
And plenty of bubbles. So the Paga de Tarsis, this actually comes from just on the borders of Catalonia, from an area called Utiel-Requena.
Okay.
It's a tiny bit warmer, and so you get a little bit more ripeness in the grapes. It's made from 1 grape, which is Macabeo, whereas most Cava is made from 3 grapes. And Macabeo produces a slightly fruitier, gentle style of wine. And an important thing about this wine is they age it in the bottle for about 9 months, and that just gives the wine a little bit more body, and you get some nice sort of white fruit notes to it as well.
Oh, okay. Well, let's have a
little swirl.
A swirl and a sniff.
And it's a little bit smoky, some white appley fruits.
Oh, it's delicious. Very refreshing too.
Very easy, clean, fresh, and incredibly refreshing.
We're having this tasting at sort of mid-afternoon, and this is just absolutely on point right now. This might see us through the rest of the day.
Yeah, which sets you up well. The nice thing about it as well is it's not heavy. It's actually only 11.5% alcohol, which for me I think is a good thing. So it just makes it a very easy aperitif. It also combines well with food, and I believe you're matching it with some food in the menu.
We are, yeah, with the wonderful Bellotto we're thinking would work extremely well. So that Iberico pork, that wonderfully thin sliced salami, it's going to be a beautiful match. All that lovely sort of the fats, I think, is going to marry beautifully with the sort of the richness of the Cava, perhaps.
I think that'll go very well indeed. Good choice.
Well, should we send this down the middle and then try the next? Chin chin.
Good way to start.
Gosh, that's good.
We're both on public transport, Charlie.
We are indeed. And Phil, I noticed when you were pronouncing those grape varieties, you were doing it with a certain sort of Spanish flair. You're a man who has spent some time in Spain and in Catalonia, haven't you?
I studied in Spain for a year, and I lived in Latin America for 7 years, so I do tend to be a little bit pretentious and annoy many people, including my family, when I insist on calling chorizo chorizo as opposed to calling it chorizo. So,
Well,
I indulge in the pretense, I'm afraid.
it is pour away, but it's a shame that you can't be there with us on the 6th, because then you'd be able to pick up Ryan on his pronunciation of world's finest Mancunian meets Spanish, which is going to be quite amusing. Looking forward to that. Okay, so tell us more. What do we
So
have here?
carrying on, as I said, Catalonia is best known when it comes to white wines. It's best known for Cava, but it doesn't mean that you can't make a still white wine out of the traditional grape varieties that Cava is made from. And one of these is Xarel·lo, which is spelled Xarello. It's a Catalan word. And this wine is actually made by a very renowned Cava house called Recaredo, and this is their still wine arm of the business. They work biodynamically, which means everything is organic, no herbicides, no pesticides, a very holistic approach to making wine. The wine is all harvested by hand, it's fermented very naturally, and it spends a little bit of time in the tank, again, to give the wine a little bit of texture and body. So it's called Mariannes, and Mariannes is the name of a little fox that lives in the vineyard. It's very herbaceous, it's got quite high acidity, it's delicious with fish and seafood, but it works very well also with with any vegetable orientated dish, incorporating asparagus or something like that, which I think fits the brief well for what you're doing.
Well, that's it. Everyone's in luck at home, because of course we have the Catalonian grass on the menu tonight, and I look forward to trying this on. Very delicious. What are we specifically looking for in the taste profiles there?
Xarel·lo has a danger, if it's left on the vine too long, it has a danger of becoming a little bit fat and heavy. So they pick this just a tiny bit early, and that retains the freshness and the acidity. So you get a tiny little bit of honeyed note, a little bit of creamy texture, but then there's a lovely clean acidity, and something almost slightly salty just on the end.
Yeah, that's what I describe as a really delicious sort of foodie wine.
Very much so. Very much
Okay,
so.
well, onto the reds, sir.
Onto the reds, onto the main
Here we
event.
go. Bottoms up. What's bottoms up in Spanish?
Arriba, arriba.
Love it.
Now, this is going to...
Oh wow. Well, first thing to comment on is the colour. It's incredibly sort of vibrant.
This will shake one or two people's preconceived ideas of Spanish red wine. A lot of people always assume Spanish red wine is going to be Rioja, and it's going to be rich, heavy, and oaky. The people that make this wine, which are two charming guys called Pep and Patri, they're probably both in their sort of mid to late 40s, and they've been in pursuit of the perfect outlet to make Grenache or Garnacha. They made wine in France, they made wine in Spain, they travelled to the New World, and they've got this plot of land just on the foothills of this area called Priorat. It's at about 300 metres, it's on granite, and they want to make a delicate wine. They're making it very, very naturally, so they're not using any herbicides or pesticides. And to make this, instead of taking the grapes off the vine, off the bunch, they put the whole bunch in. And
Is that incredibly unusual to do that?
It softens the wine. It means you don't get such a heavy, intense red wine, which is why the colour is quite pale. And this is also 3 different Grenaches. There's a little bit of Syrah, and it's got a little bit of white Grenache in there as well, so it's a blend. And the idea is to have a fresh, lifted, herbaceous, not too heavy wine. Lovely served a little bit chilled.
Okay, so no need to sort of open it early or warm it up, just from the fridge, or?
This was in the fridge an hour ago, and I think this probably now is at exactly the right temperature.
Okay. Well,
Let's see if you agree.
I'll taste it. And I think maybe we've got a moment to just tell us a little bit more about natural wine, because it really is, it's the true sort of expression of the terroir, isn't it? And would you say that this is a good example of that?
I think it's a perfect example. And the whole idea is if you're making natural wine, if you're not adding any fertilizers or chemicals, the roots basically seek their nutrition by going deep into the soil. And down in the soil is where you have the mineral deposits of the rock formation that the soil is made of. So the roots may be going down 15 or 20 meters. So if you're on granite, you're going to get some sort of slightly smoky, stony notes that come into the wine. If you're on limestone, you get high acidity. If you're by the coast, you get a certain amount of salinity. So what natural winemakers are trying to do is to get the truest expression of the grapes that come from their little plot of land. They don't want it to taste like the next door neighbours or anybody else's. They want it to be a very individual expression of the wine.
Quite right too. I love that.
Doesn't please everybody. They can be a little bit unusual. They can be a bit esoteric. They don't filter the wine, and they add very little preservative in the form of sulphur to the wine. So they've got an energy and a vitality to them that is, for me, is incredibly appealing.
Well, there we go. 3 fabulous wines chosen by Phil. Phil, if any of our guests at home would like to find out more about natural wine or about these wines,
Yep.
Go on, plug yourself.
Plug myself. The company is called Le Cave de Purène. There's lots of information on our website, www.lecave.co.uk, and do please get in touch. We'd love to help you out.
Well, there we go. And thanks for joining us, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed the film. Good evening and a warm welcome to a cook's tour with Rocket and our first destination, the Basque Country.
Vegetables, and as you can see, sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. And what I want you to do is put the space there, top yolk right in the middle.
Good evening and a warm welcome to a cook's tour and to our next destination, Catalonia. My name is Charlie Grant-Peterkin and I'm here, like you, to learn from the master, Ryan Stafford. Good evening, Ryan.
Evening, Charlie.
Here we go again.
Here we go, and it's a pleasure to be here. I say all the time, I'm really excited about this, but Spain in general is the hub, and Catalonia. Let's go.
Here we go. Okay, Catalonia, a region of Spain that has its own rich history and distinctive culture, including its own special cuisine with cookbooks dating back as far as 1520. Heavily influenced by neighbouring France and Italy, Catalan cuisine is truly Mediterranean, stemming from the mountains, land and sea. The dishes are greatly influenced by ingredients found on the Mediterranean coast. Aubergines, tomatoes, artichokes, chickpeas, olive oil, pork and fish, and sauces such as aioli and romesco, and more of that later. But not just food, Catalonia has a thriving wine industry and is the home of Cava sparkling wine. Barcelona, the region's capital, is the largest city on the Med and boasts no less than 20 Michelin-starred restaurants. It is the home to Barcelona FC and the Sagrada Familia, due to be complete in 2026, a mere 140 years since construction began. Finally, the region has its very own version of flamenco, rumba catalana, which is a fusion of flamenco with pop, folk and rock and roll. Ryan, how is your Catalan rumba?
Do you know what? I don't even know what that means, Charlie, but that knowledge was incredible. I mean, come on. Hope you guys at home are really enjoying that. That was amazing.
Good. We've set the scene, so we should probably get cooking. But before we do, some rules of engagement, a little bit of housekeeping, if you like. You can cook now, you can cook later. And hello to everyone having a fiesta.
Hello.
On Friday night. It's good to have you guys on board. There is the live chat function, so please pester Michael with your questions. He's there to help. If we are going along at too much of a speed, you can always hit the space bar, pause the action, and then hit the space bar to release yourself. The booklet. We have instruction booklet for you guys to follow at home, should you need to. Finally, social handles. Get posting photographs of all your wonderful creations. Use the hashtag CookWithRocket and tag a cook's tour. And on that note, we should get some ovens on.
We should. So ovens on to 220, 230 if they go to that. It's just for some melting, some oozy cheese later on.
So super hot.
And yeah, so get those on and we can get rocking.
Yeah, okay, so give us a little overview of the menu tonight, Ryan.
Do you know what? The amount of fresh ingredients we've got in this box is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, Charlie, take a look at this. We've got a paleta, a salchichon, we've got some broad beans, some beautiful products from some beautiful suppliers ready to go. And the fresh ingredients, as I just said, are incredible. We've got peas in a pod, we've got Spanish onions, we've got Spanish grass, which is asparagus, fresh bread, rice, cheese that you've never seen before. I mean, where do I start? Incredible produce.
Good. Well, let's start by the hero dish of the night, if you like.
Hero dish. It would not be a trip to Spain, especially Catalonia, without paella or paella, as I say in Manchester. So you pick what you want. And with that said, let's get our pans on. We want to get a pan on to full whack. So we're going to get a pan on there. Now, paella pans, traditional. Round handles on the side, come to your table, absolutely massive. Everyone hasn't got those at home, so a saute pan, a frying pan is going to work perfectly, and I've got a perfect one here. It's probably a good kind of like 10 inches, perfect.
Okay.
So let's get some of those incredible ingredients. Where do we start? Look at this, Charlie.
Well, I don't know. There's so much going on here. It's a feast for the eyes.
We've got some prawns here, marinated in a little bit of garlic. We've got some Iberico chorizo.
Chorizo.
And we've got some chicken thigh in there marinating. And I mean, come on, look at that. Some beautiful stock, which we'll talk about a little bit more. We've got some peas, so I'm going to bring everything up front here, Charlie. You are going to get fully involved today, mister.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So if you've got a partner cooking with you at home, great one to get involved. We're going to be podding peas. We've got the onion.
Look at this guy.
Should we go green? Let's go green.
Well, I don't know, you've got a choice, haven't you?
Or, I'll tell you what, the one with a little flare of red. I mean, look at that.
How about that?
We talk about sexy ingredients. Apparently I say that a lot. This one is very deservingly of that comment. Sexy ingredients can go back there. We've got a beautiful red one here. Pan's on, nice and hot. First things first, guys, we have done a lot of work at Rocket HQ. We've got all that kind of like rubber glove action out of the way on this stop. We've got some chicken thigh in here. HD Walter, incredible supplier. And at the bottom, you can see here, we've got some Iberico chorizo. Absolutely incredible. Paprika, garlic, all this jazz. Ready to go. Some nice savouries up there. We've got some savoury thyme, bay, used throughout Spain. But great to get all those flavours kind of going together. Savoury, salty, sweet. Perfect protein in chicken to get things going.
Delicious.
So let's.
So that's just been hanging out in there, so all those flavours fusing together.
You know that. So I think there's not a dish for me, Charlie. Just pop those herbs out for a second. And
There it
in
is.
there, the spectacular sizzle. I want to add a little bang bang on the end of it. I don't know if that's my dad moment I refer to quite a lot.
Sizzle, sizzle, bang, bang.
So as you can see those bay leaves going in there, the aroma straight out, hit your nose. I'm there already. I'm in a port in Barcelona, crusty bread, stock, paella.
Oh.
So,
And I noticed using chicken thigh too.
chicken thigh, do you know what? It's a chef on a chicken. If we talk about these chef's cuts, it's definitely going to be chicken thigh on a chicken. It's more robust, it's got more bite, there's more flavour in there, and it's perfect for this because it's going to be a slow braise, 25 minutes, half an hour, and it's just going to be perfect. Nice and tender at the end. Breasts are dry out. It's not right for this dish. So you can see I'm just moving things around now. Nice high heat, and we're going to get moving. And remember, guys, that pause button is there for a reason. I'm going to glide through this, so don't be scared to press it and catch up a little bit on our next dish.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's go. First things first, pepper. Big gnarly fella. I think back in Turkey we were talking about crossing the road if you've seen one of these guys. Look at the size of that. And you're probably thinking, well, is it just a size thing that's different? No, it's a flavour thing. You can see the shape. I mean, look at that one. Straight back on the shelf for most people. Apart from aesthetics, that's the one you want to be getting, guys. So onions we'll come to in a minute, but peppers.
So you've sort of, so you've sort of quartered it or fifth it.
Yeah.
And now what are you doing? You're slicing out the sort of the white, is it the pith?
Yeah, so the reason, don't be worried about that, we want to toast that chorizo and that chicken on one side, and then as we start throwing in the onions and the peppers, it's going to cool it a little bit and we'll reduce the heat. But Charlie, we're going to hit double measure here. So these beautiful peas, bang in season right now. You know, they come through spring into the early part of summer now, and they're absolutely delicious and at their sweetest. So if you've got a little bottle, maybe I could give you this one, and you can plod straight into there while I'm doing the peppers. Look at the speed today, Charlie.
Whoa, I know, you're like a steam train.
We are absolutely smashing it. Now,
Catalonian Express.
These peppers are sweet, they're gnarly looking, and when you say gnarly, they've just not been selected for, you know, the aesthetics you see in the supermarkets or size. They've been grown, they've been slow grown, they've been picked in peak ripeness, and all the concentration has gone on delivering, you know, a beautiful pepper in its peak ripeness. That's, you know, you see this in Spain, you see it in the south of France, you see it in Italy.
You see it in all the markets, don't you?
Yeah, and I think we had some tomatoes way back in Turkey again, and it's not about the aesthetics. It's all about the flavour and the texture. I mean, these as well, another great thing to do other than pop them in the paella is to let's have a look at this chicken. So we can just get a little look on that. We've just got the bay leaves crackling there. I'm just going to reduce the heat.
Are you looking to get a little bit of colour, a little bit of caramelisation?
Yeah, I'll just turn a piece of that chicken over and you can see it's not going too crazy, and neither is the chorizo. I'm just turning that over. Don't turn yours over at home. Loads of people like, oh my God, I flipped the whole pan. Don't worry if you did. But we're just trying to caramelise the natural sugars in the chicken there.
Yeah.
and yeah, let all that oil, that paprika, that garlic.
And that's just cooking in the oil from the pouch. There's no additional oil
from the pouch, and then the pimenton and the natural fats of the Iberico pork coming out, just macerating all the flavors together.
Tell us a bit about chorizo. What is chorizo?
Chorizo is generally, people think all sausages are offcuts. They're really not. And chorizo, you get soppressata, which is almost like, I call it meat butter, like Nduja, the Italians have. But chorizo is usually part of the shoulder, so about 30–40% fat.
Yeah.
And what they do is they turn it into a sausage, pimenton, white pepper, lots of garlic, lots of smoked paprika, and it's left to cure. This is cooking chorizo that you guys have got, so it means it's semi-cured and still raw, so you need to cook it, not like the hard stuff you get, because this is going to be bouncy and fresh.
And paprika, does that play a big part in it?
So, sorry, I'll insert in 1 second, Charlie. I just want to pop those peppers in, and this is the time to just give a little toss, and they're going to cool the pan a little bit, which we're just going to take a little bit of the ferocious and the ferocity, if that's the right word, out of the pan, and the liquid's going to come out. That's why we start on a high heat. We start on a moderate heat, and then we start putting more cold things in, just going to cool it down and stew.
Yeah.
So that heat is still, it's on setting 8 out of 9. Your question?
Yes, paprika.
Yep.
That is the main spice, is it not?
Paprika, and it's usually smoked paprika as well, so you've got a nice body and kind of almost like you're getting a chipotle sauce, the way they're smoked. So I generally use smoked paprika, and most of the chorizo that's made good quality will have a smoky paprika in there as well. It's another level of flavour that we talk about a lot on a cook's tour.
Oh, these peas are looking great.
I know, look at them.
They're so fun to do.
You see fresh peas, and the opportunity to bring these to you guys at home as well. I mean, when have you done this before? Let's be honest. And that's what it's about, isn't it? Really getting in the field, in your mindset.
Oh, it's a runaway pea.
Peas don't have to come out the freezer, albeit great quality usually. But yeah, like look at these, all different sizes, sweetnesses. And we're going to pop those in, and they're just going to add magic to the paella. I always thought in paella as well, I thought they just did it because a lot of English people go on holiday to Spain. Because it just seems like one of those carbonara moments where it's just ham, loads of cream and mushrooms.
Oh, gosh.
You have a real carbonara, it's not really like that. But it's true, it's classic.
I'm sure there are a lot of paellas that aren't done particularly well. But I did want to ask you, because, you know, obviously, I mean, everyone at home, you know, intrepid cooks that we all are, you know, know a thing or two about food.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are a few going, paella, Valencia.
Yeah.
But you flag this as a traditional Catalan paella.
And there's a reason for that, Mr. Charlie.
Ah, okay.
So the reason is, and just in case you're wondering why I had 2 onions, they were just together. You guys have got 1 onion, and that's perfect. That's all I'm going to use at home. So yeah, your question as well. Well, it's all in the method. So in Valencia, which is, you know, there's not a fight between Valencian and with Catalonian or you know, like Catalan in general, the style, apart from we're going to get everything going in the style of paying testament to the region today, and then we're not going to move. Once all the stock's in, we're going to leave it. It's going to form a crust on the base and almost braise. Whereas in Valencia, they will move it almost a little bit like a risotto. And you may have seen they have a big festival in Valencia, and they've got these big paddles, and they're like pushing it around. There's about six guys and a couple of ladies all getting involved in a big competition every year, and yeah, that's how they do it. So it's like a free de mer risotto almost. Okay. And yeah. You go first. So I'm excited about this.
I can tell. I mean, you're absolutely on a paella mission.
Yeah.
So I was just going to sort of summarise and say the difference is with this, once you put the stock in over the rice, you just let it do its thing and you don't stir it, you don't touch it.
Exactly.
And because you're right, the thing is, it's about creating that that little sort of delicate crust of rice at the bottom, which is just, well, it's the amber nectar, isn't it, almost?
Yeah, exactly that. And we've got some herbs here, guys. You'll find you've got a nice little herb pack. There was some bay leaves and thyme in there, so we're going to go with, just going to clip this, we're going to go with a couple of herbs. We've got some in our little herb patch. I love these little herb patches.
I know, they're good.
Getting them nice and fresh to you guys is quite the effort. I'm going to pop this on here. So we've got some lemon thyme. Have a little sniff of that, Charlie. We're going to use a little bit of the lemon thyme in the
so good
Catalan grass, and then we've got some parsley to finish. And some garlic is what I'm after.
And is this is just thyme? Yeah. Yeah,
really woody, savoury, aromatic herb, really robust as well. It goes great, and it fights those bold flavours that we've got coming from the smoked paprika and the stock and all these beautiful things, and the prawns to finish. You need some hearty herbs in there. The pasta goes on at the end with the lemon to kind of season the dish and lighten up the depth in there. Paella is one of those things, we talk about these levels in flavours that I talk about and rabbit on about constantly, but paella would be the perfect example of multi-layered deliciousness and fun and sexiness. I mean, it comes to the table and you're like, if you get a good one, you just don't say anything, you just eat.
That's it, isn't it? Well, I mean, it's so revered in Spain that actually there is, the 27th of March is National Paella Day. So, you know, maybe, Ryan, next year you should take a trip down to Catalonia and be there on the 27th of March.
I want to go to this big tomato fight. Is that in Spain that they have?
Yeah, yes.
Throwing tomatoes is my jam. And eating paella after it covered in tomatoes sounds like a dream, right?
Okay.
You can come, that could be our first outing. So, look at this. Look at it very, very carefully. Charlie, eye contact, please.
I'm giving it the eyes.
This stock, like, I'm not even going to say every bit of the process, but it is a labour of love. There's chicken in here, there's shellfish in here, there's saffron, there's tomatoes. Carry on looking at it, just for a minute. There's layers of flavour. Look, you can see the fat on there from the corn-fed chicken. There's bits of the soft parts of the prawns when we've kind of like squashed them. I could drink cups of this. Oh dear. I could drink cups and cups. So, back to the paella anyway, not my dreams. And look at that, we've got some beautiful, some of my chorizo's gone a little bit dark there.
Okay.
But I'm just going to remove too much talking.
Too much talking.
Too much.
Keep an eye on the chorizo.
Do you know what? No, it's fine.
Is it fine?
It is fine. No, I'm really happy with that.
Okay. Good, good.
Barbecued, we could say. And then we're going to get some rice. So the rice is going to go in. The reason we put our rice in now is to get some of those fats. And like with a risotto, we want to toast the rice a little bit. A nice little shimmy, sizzle, sizzle. There we go. And you can see straight away, Charlie, just all that rice has changed colour. We're just going to give it a second in there.
Taking on board all that flavour.
If any of your herbs have caught, like mine, just remove them to add a little bit of bitterness. But I have no fear as that braises, the kind of toastedness on the chicken.
And the rice, what is the rice? Is it a particular grain?
It's paella arroz, which is just basically a flat grain. And as I've said, in past destinations, you've got kind of risotto rice, you've got pudding rices. They're all very similar. They're round, fat grain rices. Lots of starch in there, gives you that kind of like starchy, nice finish that we look for. So the Valencian one is a bit more creamy, a bit more sticky. This is going to be sticky at the bottom, but quite clean, and the rice will be separated because it's been abraised, a bit like sushi rice in essence. Nothing to do with sushi, like, but. Okay, so
you're going to tuck into that. I'm going to hit you with a paella fact, okay?
Go on.
2001, 2nd of October.
Yeah.
The record for the biggest paella, okay? How many people do you think it fed?
It's got to be thousands.
Well, I mean, 110,000.
Well, I was talking about these guys and these ladies with like snow shovels. Yeah. As I'm thinking about that for a second, stock's going to go in, and you want to hear that. Hear that? Sizzle, 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 Charlie. It all goes nice and calm.
Oh.
We need to bring that back up to a boil.
I'm in the kitchen.
Calm. Everything calms down. There's no more burning. There's no more toasted chicken.
That was all so ferocious.
I know it was. It's like it's getting a little sweat on. 2,500.
I've actually already told you the answer. It's 110,000. 110,000. There you go. So that's almost like a 20-year record now. So perhaps you should have a go.
The important part, if you didn't burn your chicken, it's not burnt. Do not miss this point. The stock goes in. There's 500 ml that we've given you. 300 ml of water. Do not miss that part. Goes in as well. That's the buyer. That buys us the time to get this done. So all the base, the flavour and everything is in the process. The onions, the peppers, the savouries we've got in there, the onions, the chicken, the chorizo, and then this water just gives us that time as it reduces to cook, finish with that nice stickiness. So we're just looking to bring that to the boil now, Charlie. And for you guys at home, I hope that process was amazing.
That was fun.
It's true to how it should be in the destination. We're going to bring that up, let it go to a simmer, at which point we will finish with these delicious prawns. Look at those. You've got two beautiful tiger prawns and a few shelled prawns as well, because you've got to have the aesthetics. You've got to have these like prawn moments at the end, scary looking things on top of your paella. Maybe mum's not into it, but dad definitely likes them. Whatever, get stuck in. And just for mum, 'cause she doesn't like messing around, there's some beautiful shelled and deveined prawns down there.
Oh, jolly good. Okay,
So we'll put those aside with the peas. Once that comes to the boil, we're just going to stick those in so they sit.
And what are we looking at? You said sort of half an hour, did you?
Half an hour from, it's coming up to the boil now, so let's put a timer on that, Charlie, just to be smart about it. I reckon
we're gonna test
25 minutes, but I'm going to put a timer on for 30.
Okay.
Okay?
Brilliant.
So
there we go. Paella, dish one, sort of on its way.
Yeah.
And dish number two, we're going to...
Churros.
We're going to do the churros. So we're going to start working on the dessert. And we're going to do this in 2 phases. The first phase, you guys at home, please cook along with us, because we're going to create the batter. And the second phase, we will actually then cook the batter in the oil. But you probably want to, well, I would recommend that you did that later on after you've had your
most
paella.
definitely.
So we'll just do it. We'll do both now so you can see. But the second phase, do later on.
There's so many ingredients here.
I know,
so many fresh ingredients.
Like,
what am I going to forget? No, we've got it all here, Charlie. It's all under control.
Okay, paella under control?
Paella under control.
Happy with that bubble?
It's just coming up to the bubble, so I'm going to take it down to setting 6, which is kind of like a medium on my kind of numbers over there. So I've just put on, guys, as you can see over here, 240 ml of water, and we want to bring that to the boil, no reducing.
Okay, so very important, that's 240 ml, no more, no less, because everything has been measured for you.
And that's in there, and that's on full, that's turned down, so that's going to take a couple of minutes. Now, you've got some beautiful dulce de leche, Manchester version. Dulce de leche? Go on, Charlie, hit us.
No, it's chocolate sauce, isn't it?
It's chocolate sauce, exactly. But I wanted to learn the proper way of saying it there. But we've got some chocolate sauce here, and if you open it up, have a little look. You see that? Have a little smell. Smell the chocolate in there. Beautiful dark chocolate in there, sweet milk in there as well. It's absolutely dreamy. It's kind of like a ganache right now. So you get those hot churros, because you're going to cook it at the end, and you can dip it in there and it'll be beautiful. But I like it a little bit looser. So as that water's coming up, loosen the top, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of time just to kind of heat up a little bit, because I like it a little bit more dippable. Okay. So we are going to get some baking paper. It's really interesting, this, because it's so easy. Oh, I forgot to tell you as well. I'm going to make a mess of my chocolate now. You've got 30 ml. There's a couple of ingredients with this. You've got 30 ml of neutral oil. Now, some recipes that I've cooked in the past have butter, but oil works perfectly for me. So got 30 ml of oil. That goes straight in, messes my chocolate sauce jar up. Maybe everyone's like, I'm not going to heat my chocolate up now. Fair enough. So the oil goes in, sits on top of the water while that's heating up. You want to get yourself some baking paper, parchment paper, whatever you like to call it. And then in this little glorious bag of fun, we have got some baking powder and some plain flour. Really that simple. We're essentially making choux pastry. So with choux pastry, the only difference is you would do the process we're going to do and shoot some egg yolks in as you've eaten it to enrich it. But we're not going to do that because churros doesn't need it. We're just making almost like a donut, if you like, a really simple donut. So in here is some flour. I think there's 150 grams, but it'll say in the recipes. But it's measured out with some baking powder. Really simple. And that's it. And what we're going to do is, the process is going to be, we shoot the flour into the water. Do you know why? I don't know either. It's just the way I was taught. No, of course I do. It's we shoot it in because if you were gently sieving it in, throwing spoon by spoon, it's going to lump up. So I think the key is once it's boiling, you throw it into hot water, shoot it in, paddle goes in, and beat it. Look really awkward while we're doing it. You're just looking thinking, what is he doing? You're going to be doing that at home as well. And it doesn't lump up, and we're going to get a nice little dough, pop it in a piping bag. So just while we're waiting for that.
This sounds exciting.
It is quite exciting. That water's probably a minute or two off. So we're going to find this. This is a pretty sexy bowl. Dex department, just like, leave it all, stop touching stuff. But I'm just going to take it anyway.
And that will be for the chorizo to go into, is it?
Yeah.
And what have you got there?
Really interesting, Charlie, because I'm going to go back a few destinations.
Cinnamon.
Yeah, and a few destinations. Charlie, all the knowledge teaches me so much. Got cinnamon in there. And cinnamon, you think, well, cinnamon, and then we go to paella in the stock, saffron.
Yes.
When we're going with the story.
Well, it's all those spices, isn't it?
Spice fruit as well, and you don't do enough of the map anymore. I don't know if you, Michael, have we had some complaints about the map? Because I love the map, and I love telling all this knowledge about it. And yeah, it's a spice fruit. It's come into Europe. The saffron's come in. You see in Portuguese all through Spain, right over to Portugal. Saffron. You see anise, and most importantly, cinnamon. Just for you guys at home thinking, is that Mexican churros? Has he got it right? No, it's Spanish. And that's why we're doing it. And most importantly, you see it a lot around Catalan.
Yeah, but churros is global now, isn't it? I mean, you know, yes, in Spain, in Portugal, but it's in South America and even sort of in the Philippines, Mexico.
If you've been to Disneyland, you probably think it just came from Disneyland. It's everywhere there. No, it's from Spain, and this is a beautiful, simple recipe, and hopefully one that simple that you're going to recreate it time and time again. So our water, Charlie.
Are we there?
We are. And you know what? The oil's just sat there, just moving around my jar. Told you.
Perfect.
I know what I'm doing sometimes. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just like to heat that up a little bit.
Has that worked for you?
Yeah.
Working.
So the reason, as I said, just buying a little bit of time, is to when you shoot it, the flour into the water, it activates the baking powder, and then that causes like a little bit of a fizz, and it's almost like an instant proof. So there's a couple of reasons, method behind the madness, of course, and we don't really need it to come to a boil. We just need it. You can see it's like a bit of a kettle boiling now. There's some steam coming off it. I think we're good to go.
We're good to go. Okay, everyone at home, are you ready for this?
We can do this off here. I'm going to try my best to not burn our beautiful board. It's been around the world with us, Charlie.
Sure has.
Look at it. Wait, what's happened here? This must have been.
Yeah, I don't know. We've had.
Must have been practicing for Turkey or something. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm just going to turn this down because we don't need it anymore. There we go.
Yeah.
Do you want to shoot it in for me?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Guys, there's no fireworks, just flour into water, but as fast as you can.
Go.
As fast as you can.
Oh, okay. Like that?
Yeah. And then just want to beat it around. And then it kind of goes like, is that it? Exactly, that's it. And then you think, well, that looks a little bit dry. So, but look at it straight away. You kind of get this paste. Have you ever seen choux pastry?
Yes, I have.
You really got to get involved. Charlie,
you really work it.
Yeah, and the reason is you're trying to work those glutens in there. I'm going to look really casual, like I'm not sweating. It's just a new moisturiser, guys, that's why I'm a bit shiny. But I'm just going to beat it. Charlie, you're going to have to take over.
I'm going to take over.
Have a little beat of that.
Okay.
Take it off there, because that's a bit awkward. The board's on its way out anyway, you can see it's a bit burnt.
Whoa, yeah, tilt it, work the angle. What are we looking for?
We're looking for a bit of smoothness. Almost getting to a point of a shine, but it's not that important. You generally get that from people that have made it and put eggs in there or butter. We're not looking for a shine of smoothness, trying to make sure there's no lumps in there. I'm out of breath.
How are we doing?
Yeah, good. Keep going, keep going. So guys, should we have a little chat about what's been going on? I don't know, Michael, can we get some voices in the studio or something? Well, Charlie's just grafting over here.
Well, I graft. Oh.
We are almost there actually, Charlie.
That's looking great. It's looking really smooth. And
very thankful to know.
And then what are you going to do with this?
So, because we've got clean hands, quite hygienic, clean looking men, if I do say, we're going to pop it on the board just to give you guys at home benefit of the doubt and see where we should be at. So do you want to try and scoop it all together?
Oh yeah, I think I might need to lie down and have a glass of Cava.
Moisturiser as well, obviously. Okay, right. Pop it on the board. Let's show everybody.
Boom.
Nicely done. There you go, yeah. And you can see as well, look at that, it's really peculiar.
That's extraordinary, isn't it? It's just flour, water and some oil.
And the baking powder. So the difference in the texture of the baking powder, you know, you got mechanical raising agents and chemical raising agents as well. Mechanical being whisking and beating and putting air in there, and chemical being the baking powder or soda, baking powder in this case. So yeah, it just gives it that lovely, and choux pastry is usually just a little bit more pastry coloured because of the butter and eggs. But that's it pretty much. Great. I mean, that's what you're looking at. It's come together, there's not much in the pan, and that's what you're doing. You're beating the glutens, don't want to overbeat it forever. And that's it really. Churros. So let's pop that into a piping bag. We have given you guys the most exciting tools you've ever seen. I mean, the ugliest bag, if you can say.
They are rather. You were telling me why, isn't it? It's sort of health and safety in the kitchen, isn't it?
It is, and we wanted to send you straight from Rocket HQ what we use. And when you're snipping plastic around food, just like you see people who cut their fingers have blue plasters, no one wants plaster in the food, and I definitely don't want to eat plastic. So it is a bit of safety first, really. And if you see a bit of blue in food, which humans are generally, we don't eat anything that's blue, including
Is this the bit where you hold it and you sort of whiz it around your head?
No.
No,
Not one of those, Charlie.
not one of those sorts of chefs. Oh, you just,
Yeah, I just do it the professional way.
okay.
I'm a professional. So we're just going to snip a little bit off there, and because I'm a bit ahead of the game and didn't really want you guys rushing ahead having dessert before you've even had your starter, I've got some oil on over here. I'm just going to test a little bit in there.
Okay, so at home, this is the moment where you want to stop and put your piping bag down.
Trim that off because I'm a perfectionist. Exactly,
And
Charlie.
watch Ryan do his thing.
So we're just going to test, get a little setup here. We're just going to pop that chocolate sauce over there. I'm just going to get a little drainer here with a nice little J cloth.
Yeah.
So back on set, don't worry guys, don't go anywhere. Pop that on there, we're just going to test a little bit of the mixture. Safety first, piping bag, back of it sealed, hole cut. I don't want you kind of like plonk, watch that, 3rd degree burns.
No, okay.
It's not good. So we're going to go real close, pretend this is the pan. We're going to go real close like that to the oil, snip. We're going to get walking sticks, curly whirlies, straight ones. You see the nozzles that are star shaped? It's just a style. It's not, it's not a definitive part of it. So let's test some of this.
Let's have a look. And then snip.
Yeah, and we're just going to test the oil there. So I want to go a little bit fatter on here because they look like mini baby churros. It's not what we're after.
No,
No.
we want the fully
So that's,
grown.
yeah, it's just about being in the know really, and I know that oil looks pretty good. I'm just going to turn it up a little bit. Then we're going to start piping some of these. Would you like to pipe some?
No, no, come on, you do it. And I'm
It's
gonna
a
watch over your
hot
shoulder.
paella steam, isn't it? Over
It's the hot
fat.
paella steam and the
Okay,
hot
I'm going
fat.
to try and do this so you guys can see.
Everything spelling disaster if I ever go. Okay, so yeah.
Really
so just
that.
Squeeze it in and you're looking for little sort of sausages.
Yeah,
you
they're just
then
going to
snip at
puff.
the end.
They're going to puff up and they're going to rise to the top. And the colour isn't really a big important part. The colours, it's not the most important part really. We just want to cook it. I mean, it's a beignet. We want it to rise a little bit like we do bread. I probably picked the wrong pan here. Not going to lie. We're going for
Difficult to get into.
authenticity is key. So if you get these at a fairground, they're going to be perfect, long, 6 inches. They've got that kind of ridge shape on them. But if you're getting authentic stuff, that artisanal approach, I'm just talking a bit of rubbish now, aren't I? But they're going to look good, Charlie.
They're going to look good. They're going to
I
taste.
said walking sticks and curly whirlies. We've definitely got that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, churros is it's eaten in Spain as something for breakfast. Can you believe it?
Really?
Why wouldn't you? Yeah, I mean, after breakfast, lunch, and tea, and it's also sort of a street food.
Yeah, for me,
Specialists.
at night, a nice dinner in the port, walking around, you smell the donuts, the churros kind of, the smell in the air like you do bacon in the morning. You're like, should we do some churros? Should we do one each? Massive one. Loads of cinnamon sugar. Yes, please. I'm there. I'm going to get rid of that because it's getting a bit dangerous now with the amount that I've got there. Let those go for a minute.
And this is fun to, I mean, not let the kids do it, but fun for the kids to eat too, isn't it?
Definitely. And it's a perfect moment to go back to that paella, just while I'm doing that, because you guys are probably sat at home going, wish he'd hurry up with his churros chat. I want to get on to the next dish. So let's continue, because they're going to fry for about 3 to 4 minutes, depending on how hot your oil is. And you've seen that I tested the oil. I would say my oil was probably around 160. I'm probably looking for 180 to kind of 220. So I'm just going to leave it in a little bit longer. But if it goes brown really fast, it's fine. We're just looking for that reaction like bread rising really fast.
Okay.
So there's a big window there, and we won't mess it up too much. I'm looking for some tongs.
Tongs. Nah.
Tell you what.
You're out of luck, I'm afraid. You have to
Peas.
put up the old spoon. So peas going in.
Peas are going in. We'll sprinkle those around. Do you know the reason why we put them in now, Charlie?
I guess they need a little bit of cooking, but not too much.
Yeah, well, to be honest, they are actually going to overcook. It's just the nature of paella. They're going to be quite shriveled peas, and they're in there for the starchiness and sweetness as well.
Okay.
But we put them in just so once the rice has started to rise a little bit from naturally just fattening from cooking process, we just want, and the prawns, we don't want them to sink and disappear. We want the peas on top. So
How tempted are you, though, to start stirring that rice? Is
never.
hovering with your
No,
spoon,
I have to
thinking-
respect the ultimate destination that we are in.
Yeah.
And one of my favourite places in the world. I've got some great memories. We go back to Bali, Charlie.
Yes.
There's a reason why I was in Bali. It was my honeymoon. Turkey, great places. All these Basque country, all phenomenal ideal places to be. But there's just something about Catalan kind of life that's amazing. And I'm not going to mess around with paella. I'm sorry, it's not happening. And I'm going to put this chili in here just because I love it, straight in the middle. Do you know what? I'm just going to bit more savoury in there as well.
Yeah, why not?
Could do its thing. We're going authentic. Look at that.
Good. And it's already sort of probably reduced by a half, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
how much time on your clock?
We're halfway. 15 minutes. So another 15 minutes, and I'm feeling
very relaxed,
confident about it. Yeah.
Gosh.
Those churros as well look like they're about to turn into hot air balloons and float off somewhere. Really, really happy with them. Excuse me, but like I said, my oil was a little bit cooler than I wanted it, so they're going to take a little bit longer. I reckon these are probably going to go for about 6 minutes.
How long have they had?
Yeah, they probably had about
6 minutes more, or another couple of minutes?
6 minutes in total. Yeah, I mean, some of them are starting to get a little bit harder.
As you say, you're not looking for them necessarily to turn colour, are you? It's more the case of...
Yeah. Yeah, no, we just want them to harden up.
Yeah.
Don't put your fingers near the oil like I just did. We'll just let them go for a minute.
Yeah.
Just let them get nice and fat. And as well, the typical churros is quite long and thin and probably like 30 centimetres. You know, if you have them in Spain, I've had a plate of them before and they look like a load of little wiggly worms, as my daughter would say. So cool. We'll leave those there for a minute just while we're waiting for those. Paella is rocking. We've got churros on the way. And next we're going to go with the salchichon.
Let's do that. Look at these.
Let's do that. I wonder if you could be ever so kind, Charlie.
Yeah.
Pass over. There's a beautiful round plate with a bowl over there.
Yes, yes,
That
yes.
would be perfect. So, look at this, guys. Absolutely amazing. Brindisa in London. They've got a few restaurants. We spoke about it. You've been there. They import everything from Spain. Now, this wouldn't be, you know, true to Spain in general, especially the region that we're in, if we didn't do, you know, traditionally like a ham paleta or a salchichon, which is a Spanish sausage paleta, and it's that mosaicy kind of ham that you've probably all seen. If you've been to Spain, you've had that experience, and you've been to a bit of a foodie destination in Spain, especially around like Barcelona, Valencia and stuff. You've seen these plates. You've seen these plates of ham, and they're amazing. And look at the gloss on there. It's so important as well, putting the instructions to make sure you have it at room temperature, and the reason is those fats in there that have been nurtured by the farmer and the animal's diet in particular, when they hit your palate and they just open up, you taste all this like sweetness and lightly spiced. There's just white and black pepper in here, and the rest is, you know, the true flavour of the meat. Now we've been to a few destinations, and we've had Cobble Lane in the past, and you're probably thinking, this guy's like banging on about this English charcuterie. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. But we're in Spain now, and they've also got incredible charcuterie.
Of course.
So, you know, this is Iberico Baiota, and it's really, really interesting. Do you know what Baiota means?
No.
So Baiota, it looks like it's spelled Balota, but it's actually Baiota, is a grade. So it's the highest grade of Iberico pig. So Iberico pig has to be, Baiota has to be 60% plus true blood, like the bloodline of the pig, and it has to be reared in a special way. It has to be finished, so that means it's last kind of like the finishing where they round off its diet to give it a nice kind of marbling and fat. This is the Gucci, Versace, whatever you want to call it, Burberry of the cured meat world. It is fascinating. You see that gloss, you've got to have it like that. And we're just going to jiggle this around the plate. We need a glass of wine with this.
You know, you sort of stole the words straight out of my mouth, because now would be a really good moment to...
You brought wine?
Well, I don't just brought one, I bought three.
Just going to check my...
These are
for us.
Phil's fabulous selection of wines for tonight. And we're going to start with this delicious cava. Oh, that's always such a healthy sound, isn't it?
It is. So these have probably had about 6 minutes now, and there's a couple of them that are where I want them to be. Really authentic looking as well. Definitely, like I said, my daughter would say, wiggly worm daddy, the wiggly worms.
But are there a few not playing ball?
And no, they're definitely playing ball, they just need a little bit longer.
Okay.
So I reckon another couple of minutes and we should be there. I think my oil was just a little bit cooler than I wanted, but you know, I like to be true, professional, but also show you guys at home, you know, if something's not quite right, it's going to be calm and you can get it where you want it to be. So look how this is going. You were saying about the wine.
Yeah, well, of course, as I touched on in the intro, this is cava, so Spanish sparkling wine, and it's rather delicious. So go on, have a taste if you can, whilst you've got lots of things going on.
Have a little jam on that. So yeah, and it'll go great because there's a sweetness in here, in the meat naturally. And is this dry, or is it?
It is. No, it is dry. But it's different to Prosecco, because Prosecco, of course, is fermented in steel. So it's very dry, but this actually has time in the bottle.
Slightly appley.
Yes, you get secondary sort of fermentation in the bottle, so it gives it a slightly richer flavour.
Absolutely delicious, Charlie. Thank you.
But it is good, and you're right. It would go perfectly well with this and those lovely sort of fats that you were talking about.
So we're just going to mosaic this around. My churros will be ready in about a minute, so I'll hurry up with this.
When I was talking to Phil about wines for this evening, you know, I mean, I don't know about you, but I love sherry, and
love sherry.
And but he was like, Charlie, you couldn't possibly have sherry in a Catalan menu because, of course, you know, it's the home of Cava. And that's something very true about Spain, isn't it? That they are quite territorial about their regions, and you know, in Andalusia, where of course sherry is from, probably wouldn't touch. Well, they would drink Cava, but they're very much more territorial about their sherry, and vice versa.
Yeah, like Pedro Jimenez is sherry, isn't it?
Mm.
And you can feel that fat straight away, and just like the wine and the amazing sherry you're talking about as well. Just put a piece on your palate, and like you tasting wine, just bring a little bit of air over it, and you'll taste that sweetness, that pepper, that fat coming through. Not so waxy, but flavoursome. Beautiful brindisa, spicy broad beans, starchy against sweet meat, against dry drink. I mean, come on, we're there. So let's pop those in a bowl, like that. Done that before, Charlie.
There we go. So that is proper snack time.
That's done. So straight onto the churros. Don't be scared of this, Charlie. I'm very confident about these churros and the way they look. You're going to be like, this guy has not made churros before. I have. They just need to be nice donut looking beignets, honestly.
Yeah, come on, they look properly authentic.
Authentic they are.
Authentic they are, and you're putting them straight into that.
I reckon it's when you go and get a pasta dish, you don't see pasta like you do in Waitrose and Sainsbury's. You know, it's all machine made. When you see it made by hand, it's got soul in it, it's got presence, it's artisanal. You look at the bread that we've got there, the artisanal loaf, you know, each one of those that's been sent out to you guys is completely different because it's handmade and it's got soul in the recipe. So we're going to toss those now in the sugar.
Can bring that over here, let's have a look.
Yeah. I should have drained those off first actually. So a nice little bit of sugar on there. You can smell those, can't you?
Sure.
So guys, I made a little bit of a mistake, so I popped them straight in there, which you should have popped them on there. So it's no biggie, because they're still going to taste delicious. However, the sugar has kind of just set up a little bit, but as you can, just pick one up and smell it, Charlie. The cinnamon sugar's on there.
Yes, it's still there. I'm going to even do more and try it.
It's still there. It's going to be hot. Is it hot?
Oh.
Nice and beignet, fluffy on the inside. And that's why I'm confident that they're absolutely delicious. Could you pass me that oval bowl? That would be incredible.
Please.
Some people must watch me sometimes thinking, he is absolutely winding us up. But I'm not. I know what I'm doing with this. And again, don't look for that perfection that you see in the supermarket. It's not always authentic. So we pop these on here. And wiggly worms, as we say.
Yeah, on your wonky ware.
On my wonky ware with my wonky churros. Yeah, and they're just beignets.
They are knockout.
Dreamy. Would you like a little bit before I let it go, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm gonna sneak it over here.
And there we go.
Amazing.
Turn my hot fat off there. And then
served with your delicious
look at the paella.
Dulce de leche. And the paella's coming on well.
And you can see as well, so we've got another 6 minutes on there, but I reckon it's probably going to take, so it's at 30 minutes, probably about 35 minutes. Doesn't really matter, you guys are going to be cooking in different pans as well.
Yeah.
Give it the time, I'll show you where we should be, give it the time, and it will get there. The prawns are turning pink, which shows they're cooking through. The other prawns are turning slightly white, which means they're going to be cooked through very soon as well. I'm just going to give them a little dab down, just so they get a little bit more of that heat. To keep them on top of the surface. Very, very special.
It's looking great. It's smelling even better right now.
Yeah, the flavour in that stock's immense. Okay.
Okay.
We have a beautiful churros. Our paella is rocking. We've also got our incredible paleta with a perfect drink.
For Catalan grass.
It is. So you're probably thinking, Catalan grass? What is he talking about? As always, just wait. It's going to be absolutely delicious. So you want to get your incredible white asparagus, green asparagus. Look at the way. Do you know why it bends like that?
No.
Because of the wind.
Is that right?
Literally because of the wind. And it's a shame because big supermarkets, I don't have it in for the supermarkets. I shop at supermarkets. I love it, but I know what to look for with my trained eye. I've been out to suppliers in in 3 parts of the UK, Suffolk, Middlesex and Kent, and seen asparagus, yeah. And these bad boys, perfectly straight. Do you know why? going to tell you at home, because they've never seen daylight. They harvest when they're under the ground. So these, they literally say, like forced rhubarb, you can hear them growing.
Yeah.
Just while I'm chatting as well, we're going to get a pan on. We get a big pan, you can probably see on the overview now. We're going to get that on nice and high, and we're going to sear it. We're going to sear it up a little bit. So
it's
we're
great
going
to see asparagus, and not often that we see white asparagus.
No, so I'm going to start. White asparagus is very special, and I wanted to do this dish, Charlie, because they're all over Spain, especially in the Catalan region. You get big, tall jars, about the size of a kind of drinking glass, with pickled white asparagus. It's beautiful. You just don't get it so overcooked. So I want to kind of focus on that a little bit, chop the bases off, focus on that kind of like experience that I've had, but deliver a brand new dish that's going to have elegance, sexiness, and a beautiful plate to look at as well. Now, just because I'm a little bit fussy, I like to put them all the same size. You're probably thinking, are you wasting that? In the kitchen, if we've got a lot of it, we make an asparagus stock, but it's very starchy. So where it's green, the sugar has been processed through photosynthesis in the same way that tomatoes do. They take the sun and they turn it into natural sugars. It doesn't come from the ground. So if you got this, so that will break where the starch is heavy and where the sugar is high.
I didn't know that.
So you eat the sweet bit and eat the rubbish bit.
I knew the trick, but I didn't realise why.
Yeah, so and sometimes you'll get them to be really purple, and you can kind of see the difference where it was going white, where that's probably where it was at the ground. And they actually have a hook knife that they put down into the surface and hook from above. So it was probably just in soil there, and then they give it a good wash. Incredible to know. And the producers, they call it grass, they don't call it asparagus. It's almost like just a name that was given to make it sound elegant. So enough chat, Ryan. We're going to just, I know where that starch level is, so I just cut it because I'm a professional, of course. And then we're going to trim those up, which we've already done. See that? Look, piece of blue plastic. Don't want to eat it.
That's amazing.
Tiny, but I can see it. That's why we sent you those sexy bags. Peeler.
Peeler.
Got a peeler. I'm going to go offset 1 second.
You go finding your peeler. You go finding your peeler. It wasn't that long ago, and we didn't have a peeler at all.
There we go.
Oh,
yeah. What destination was that? A long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
So, as well, beautiful. You don't need to peel English asparagus, which we've used here, because it's just amazing. Got smoke, Charlie.
Yeah, that's blue.
It's not Texas. We've got to chill a little bit. But that's just a little bit of residual oil that's left in there. We'll just scare the whole studio for a minute while we're peeling this. Asparagus, you don't need to peel English. The Peruvian stuff you get in the winter, it's grown hydroponically through cotton with nutrients.
Yeah.
It gets a hard skin. However, when you see me cook this and you see that beautiful grassy tip going down to a lime green stem, it's just so rewarding to look at. So we're going to peel it for that reason. So forget the first bit that I said, and just methodically barrel turn it with one hand. Just follow each strand. I need a new peeler, don't I?
Yeah. That was held together with gaffer tape.
Yeah, that's just my colour card, so you don't steal it.
Ah, I see. Well, I know that chefs are very territorial, aren't they, about that?
We are, and as
their knives.
As you can see, look at that. Look at that. And when we cook it as well, it's going to brighten up nice and green. So I just like that as well.
I agree.
And the white one we have to peel, Charlie, because it's quite tough. It's first part of its life actually before it shoots above the ground, and actually kind of grows out into a tender shoot, whereas this has to be quite robust. Just give that a little squeeze, and give that a squeeze at home, guys. It's like solid almost, and it can be quite woody actually. That's why we're going to cook it quite aggressively in a hot pan.
And is there much difference in flavour? I mean,
now feel that one, because even though you could think, well, isn't that just the same thing? Well, no, this is a compact version of this. This goes up into a 6-foot fern.
Wow.
Yeah, literally, I've seen them, and they open up, big fern, part of the fern family.
And the flavour of the two, how do they differ?
Sweet and tender. I don't say watery in a bad way, like in a taste like water. Watery in terms of like just a juicy tomato, big gush of water with a beautiful texture, almost like biting into an ice cold cucumber.
Okay.
Loads of water.
Yeah.
So I don't say that in the wrong sense. So just peel this. It's quite therapeutic. Why am I doing this? You should be doing it. Just stood there asking me all the questions.
You haven't really put me to work today.
I'm sweating today.
Usually, you know,
sipping your cava, eating your ham paleta.
I know, it's just
salty
life is
charm.
good, isn't it? Life is good.
Life is good. But look at this paella as well.
Paella.
Bang. So now we're ready. I'm going to turn this pan up again. So my pan in the background, we'll get that smoking.
Yeah.
Now I said we were going to peel this. There's a different technique to doing this one, and it's just because it gets tangled quite a lot. So we just go.
Okay, so quick and light.
Yeah, quick and light, wood shaving, spinning it around like a barrel.
Yeah.
Be careful, you'll be doing it and going, yeah, look at me, snap. This snaps a lot more. It's not as forgiving as this. You can bend this around.
Oh.
That was a paella moment.
So that's 30 minutes.
That's 30 minutes, yeah. And I don't think we're far off. We're just going to let it go.
Just let it go
We've
for
got time. It's the nature of the beast, knowing what you want. You're in good hands, trust me. Charlie knows what he's doing and he's going to put me right. So yeah, there we go.
The timekeeper.
The timekeeper, so a beautiful kind of shoot there. Now, the reason we do take this off, and it is very important, it's almost kind of fibrous, the outside bit.
Yeah.
It's just not nice. Do you want to chew some?
No, come on, you're there, you're there.
Do you,
Go.
do you want to chew?
Do you want to chew it? No, it's the last thing to do.
Yeah. So straight,
Chew the asparagus peelings.
straight into the pan.
Yeah.
Just testing him.
Do you want to have some, delicious bolota and
so-
some cava? Yes, please.
Yeah.
Asparagus peelings? I'll give those a miss.
Let me just clean this up. Just testing, Charlie, just testing.
Testing.
So we've got the
Make
white.
sure I'm listening.
We've got the white pieces. They're in there smoking.
Yeah.
Just going to sizzle them up. And again, in a few other destinations, in the past we're using the other elements of the dish. Come on, Spain in a jar.
That is Spain in a jar.
Manzanilla, gordal, picante, shallot, Spanish chili, Spanish white anchovies, white Rioja vinegar. Just holding it. They always tell me off in the studio for moving around too much.
It's having let me go
So
as well.
I just held it there. They got it. Absolutely
good.
beautiful. And we're going to use a little bit of that oil in there. It's going to get a bit smoky. Look at that. Nice and calm. Tender's not a fire. A little bit cocky. However, look at that.
God, instant bit of charring.
Instant bit of charring. It's because you've got that wateriness in there, just like we've done with peppers, courgettes, all those things we've talked about in the past.
Yeah.
It's really forgiving for that, lots of sugar. And I like getting the place real smoky as well. So once we've got that going, going to put the rest of the asparagus in there. And then we are going to use a little bit of water. Ready?
Yeah.
Did actually. Did you? bit undecided there, wasn't it?
Undecided.
Okay. I just don't want too much smoke, but we're going to go for it anyway.
We're going to go for it. I'm sure the guys in the studio don't mind.
And we're going to steam roast. Really, really important. Keep your hand at the side, and that's called a steam roast. So what we're doing is we've roasted it, got that char in, and now we want to cook it through. And straight away, you see that lime green in the beautiful lime green in the stems of the green grass.
It's the vibrancy.
Yeah, and we're just going to wait for that to reduce. By the time it's reduced, it's going to be cooked through.
Yeah.
Magic. So that's it. Would you be an absolute gent?
Yes.
There's a long rectangle plate over there, and we can start plating.
Because I imagine, like all vegetable cooking, it just never takes as long as you think.
I forgot as well, lemon thyme. Just break some of that up, smell that. Absolutely delicious. Bit of lemon thyme in there, and now we are literally poaching the asparagus in a lemon thyme kind of liquid. We've gone from a roast, we've got the toast, caramelisation, little stems, texture differences going through both, and it just evaporates there. Come and get a bit on that, Charlie. Bang. Stunning.
Yes.
Just while we're waiting for that, we're just going to turn over. These prawns are winding me up a little bit. They just don't want to look sexy.
So you're going to give them a flip.
Yeah, we're going to give them a little flip. Keep them in their little nests where they are. Got a lovely little...
How about your shelled prawns? They seem to be doing well.
Yeah, they'll be fine because they kind of steam from the inside as the heat develops. Yeah, we're really, really simple. And we want that stickiness. I'm actually going to turn my paella up just a little bit. Don't think we need to too much. Just a little notch. We want that crust on the bottom. Charlie said just before we started filming, it's going to have a crust, isn't it? It's like, Charlie,
very
wait.
particular about that.
So I'm feeling the pressure and I'm going to deliver. Don't you worry. Now, guys, as always, not too big. I'm going to pop this here. Not too big on the seasoning, you like. This guy like never seasons. We're trying to deliver a perfect evening for you guys. So we want to take a lot of the hard work out of it, and lots of the dressings, the ham, the sugar, even the churros. I've got a pinch of salt in that flour in there, just to make sure we're controlling enough of the evening to make sure that we deliver with you, obviously being the masters. I'm just going to plate. Look at this, Charlie. Yes. Ding, dong. Just want a little bit of Jenga going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
That looks great.
It does, it looks phenomenal. And look at that. Look at the lime green there. I just love asparagus. And you've got to have that crunch as well. You can't have that overcooked number going on there. We can lose that, we don't need it. And then on we go. So I'm just going to release a little bit of oil. Oh my God, we finished.
Oh, dear me.
What are we doing? So that one can go off. This one can go on.
Should I put that elsewhere?
There we go. Yeah. You know,
Let me put it over here. Let me put it over here.
the guy's going, you know.
I've got space.
Sizzle after we're finished. Okay. I'm just going to drain a little bit of dressing off because it can get quite oily. And then we're just going to kind of like tease this out. It's delicious. This is Spain on a plate. Absolutely phenomenal. Look at that.
Yeah.
Really, really delicate flavours. You know, you got summer tomato in there, the gourdal, the picante, and the spiced olives. And you got some shallot in there, some raw garlic, and you're like, yes, I'm there.
That is
There, and I
business.
want more. So, with the more bit said, we're not finished. We're going to come and we've got a paprika, toasted garlic, and chili crumb. Why? Just because we can.
Oh.
We're going to go on
Well,
there.
also it's going to give you that sort of crunch, that texture, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I don't cover too much of the, get beautiful anchovies there. I don't want to cover it all up. Lots of work plating it. Really, really authentic. Really, really authentic.
Love it.
Spain on a plate. Looks delicious.
Love it. Looks really, really good.
Really, really happy with that.
Great. Well,
There we have it.
there we have it. Let's
have
pop that over
one-
here.
One
One
more
dish to go.
Yeah. Just going to empty my bin for a minute.
Yeah, a little bit of a wipe down. And of course, the wine, I mean, the wines are all fabulous, but the white would be fabulous to go alongside the Catalonian grass. And it's the Marianne's 2018. So when you have a moment, go on, have a taste of that.
You do look after me.
Well,
Thank
you know,
Charlie.
there we go.
Cheers to you guys at home. I'm there.
That's good, isn't it?
I'm in Barcelona. I'm in
Yeah.
Port. Bread breaking.
Good texture, a little bit of acidity to it. Really good, really delicious foodie wine.
Going to get you involved, Charlie. Give that a good squish.
What on earth is this bad boy?
Give that a good squish, Charlie. Get involved. Tortilla.
Yeah? Tortilla. What is
So-
tortilla?
Is it, I can't pronounce it. Is it Galician? Gallican?
Galician.
I'm lucky. Galician cheese, pasteurised, cow's milk, semi-cured, which means it's kind of salted. The rennet is added. It's salted, shaped, almost like they make Parmesan pecorino.
Yeah.
But then they age pecorino and Parmesan for 12, 16, 24 and 30 months. Very, very quick. 3-month cure, so it gets a nice solid round. Should I stop doing this?
Yeah, I was going to say,
delicious.
it's very suggestive.
It's suggestive, delicious in many ways. I'm going to start.
Okay, let's pop that over here.
Beautiful. Tortilla. Beautiful cheese. You should be able to get a Spanish deli, European deli, or if you just ask your local cheesemonger. And there we go. Amazing. So almost, I don't know what you call that. It's not quite mozzarella, kind of young Gouda, not quite a camembert or brie. We're going to pop it in there.
Yep.
Pop it in the hot oven.
Okay.
We're going to forget about it because we're going to do something really sexy with that, Charlie. Don't let your mind run away with yourself. We're just going to melt it. It's going to be absolutely incredible. On to the next. I've got a small pan, and the rest of the ingredients we need for the final dish is a
padron peppers. Yes.
peppers. It's amazing. Really, really interesting. If you could be so kind to pass me the last plate over there,
Yep.
it'd be amazing. Look at all these drinks from there. Yes. And we've got a pan that we're going to get absolutely smoking hot. I'm going to pop it over there. Small pan. Padron peppers. Absolutely incredible. Have a little waft of that. Even better.
Ah, this is the famous Romesco sauce.
Yeah. And where's Romesco?
This is what, tomato, pepper,
Yeah.
almonds?
Traditionally, almonds and hazelnuts, but you can make it with walnuts as long as they're blanched and the skins are gone so they're not too bitter. But I've got a little secret. I use lots of caramelised garlic in mine, which takes it to a next level.
That is
I
delicious.
tasted it in Spain. It originates from Tarragona.
Oh.
Tarragona is just south, about an hour south of Barcelona, and it's incredible. And it goes great on chicken. You can run it through pasta. You can put it under salads, white fish as soon as it comes out of the oven. Today, this is the Rocketism, Ryanism, a cook's tour special. We kind of do a tapas dish like never before. This is what you usually see: padron peppers. In Italy, they're called fragitelli, and they're grown twice the size, and they're called shashito peppers in Japan. Exactly the same pepper. 3 different parts of the world, grown at different stages. Shashito the same size as well. So we've got a nice pan. We're just going to pop those in there. Want to blacken these up, toast them. You can hear them popping away straight away.
Yeah,
Nice
I can.
hot pan. No messing around when it comes to heat with these. Want to blister the skins. They're very bitter. 1 in 20 is hot.
Well, I was going to ask you, yeah, because there is that sort of, I don't know if it's a sort of an urban myth that 1 in 20 or 1 in 100
No,
is a firecracker.
it's a real thing.
It's
Yeah.
a real thing, is it?
Yeah, same with jalapenos. Some of it's the green peppers, and you get it with the Turkish long peppers. I just don't think you can make the mind up. They're like, hey Bob, these ones hot. Just throw them in the truck. I don't know if it's one of those moments or it's actually something that happens. Bob the farmer, that was the chili farmer. So very casually onto a plate.
Yeah.
As you do. And then I'm just going to spread it over. Paella is looking sensational.
Paella is.
And then I wonder if these.
A little bit of oil.
I need a bit of olive oil and there's literally some in there.
Brilliant.
I knew that, honestly. And then we're just going to pop a touch of olive oil just to get these smoking. Again, everyone's frightened in the studio. Don't worry guys, only for a minute. Get those sizzling a little bit. Don't add any salt to these. It's traditional that you get them with some olive oil, some salt, and you just kind of eat them as quick as you can.
They turn quite quickly, don't they?
They do.
They're blistering.
Yeah. So we just want to kind of spread this around on the plate and form a nice little nest. Nice little nest. Keep it nice and thick. And we're going to get a little bit of... This is one of those dishes. I remember Charlie, when I was rehearsing this dish, and you were like, is it going to look good? I said, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's going to be sexy and it's going to be delicious. So I'm confident with the latter anyway. So I'll pop that in there. Our shishito peppers are going. I'm going to check our cheese. So our cheese is going to need a little bit longer. We've got about 30 seconds. What would you like to talk about?
Oh.
Anything?
Hey, I want to ask you about music.
Yeah.
Are you a man who likes to cook to music?
Yeah.
You are?
I get proper in my zone, yeah. Drives my wife absolutely bonkers. Whether I'm on the barbecue or, yeah, in the kitchen. And do you know what? So a chef said to me a couple of days ago, actually, what music do you listen to, chef? And I said, I don't have a genre. It could be Phil Collins, could be Snoop Dogg, it could be the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Oasis, you name it. Music just makes me happy, just like cooking does.
Yeah.
I can hear, dare I say, you know, some of my sisters were playing some music in the 90s. I'm not going to mention any names, but there's some pop stars about, and like, this is a tune. So yeah, I just get involved, and it's something, you know, cooking for me, even in the height of delivery, maybe not on an event with yourself for 500 people, let's say, you know, I'm in the zone. But you know, cooking at home, cooking for friends. I mean, music's part of it. It's the experience.
It is.
Yeah. Why'd you ask?
Well, I just, you know, as you know, I follow you on Instagram, and you know, there's often these sort of moments when Ryan's doing something, sticking something in the frame,
yeah, I love
bars going on, and some beats in the background.
My brother.
I just wonder what goes on in sort of, you know, Casa Stafford.
I thought you were going to say in my head. I was going to say you don't want to know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty creative at times, but you don't want to know. But yeah, it's my brother says I have quite a knack actually with gifts. I always send gifts for moments. Yeah. When I'm texting people and stuff, or send an email. But with food as well, I don't know. There's always a song that when I'm doing something like this song will just amplify that. So I think with social media these days, that's a great vehicle and thing to have.
I wonder what everyone at home is listening to or will be listening to later.
Everyone's stalking me on Instagram like, this music's rubbish. What's Charlie on about?
Yeah. Exactly.
So these peppers just going to make this look really delicious. Now,
those colours are working for me. This is looking beautiful. It's just when you add the cheese, I just can't see how that's going to work.
It's going to get nasty.
It's going to get nasty, but it's going to
get a bit nasty, a bit delicious.
And we're doing this dish last because this is everyone's starter, so that's why I want it to be sort of hot and piping and sizzling and and delicious.
So when you put all that pressure on me in the idea tank, in the think tank as we have with all these destinations, and the team, and you're like, I'm worried about it. Get your hands off. You can try one actually, but they're going to be steaming hot.
Yeah, I'm going to leave.
So I'm going to look at this cheese. Oh, look at it.
Oh, you're there. Okay, good.
I don't know what the right word is. I just want to like shout out a Spanish word that may not be right. So I'm going to hold on that, and then we're going to.
And you're just going to pour it on top. Oh my word!
Oh my word! So we've got in there. We've got that delicious, nutty, zingy tomato, pepper, bread, almond romesco. Beautiful toasted peppers and that naughtiness of the cheese on top. Charlie, I've done you proud.
That is so wrong. That it looks
so wrong, but so right in many ways. It's the dirty burger of the meal in many ways. But once you taste it, it's not. It's fresh. It's zingy. It's a vegetable. It's just a little bit of cheese on top. Let's go.
Let me at it. And whilst we're doing that, I'm going to get rid of this board.
Perfect. And I'll get rid of some of these, and we will get this.
Let's bring over the paella.
Yeah.
Do you want to pop the paella? Maybe I'll flip that.
Perfect. You've done this before. Have you worked in a Spanish? You're good.
Well, there we go. Look at that. Those can come in there like this. Oh, bread.
Oh, okay. So,
refresh your baguette.
I just need to cut. So these baguettes are artisanal Spanish-style baguettes. They're perfect to just refresh. 2 minutes in there. I sliced some lemon. Be absolutely perfect. Look at these. I'm kind of getting attacked here by these. Look at these lemons. They're crazy, aren't they? So I will do this over here. A couple of wedges of lemon. Very authentic. Seeds in, of course. One of my pet hates in the kitchen. So we'll just remove that little seed. Beautiful. Would you like me to serve some of this up for you, Charlie?
I'd love to. I'd love to see how that has worked out. I'm intrigued. So plate coming in.
Oof. There you go. So
Running out of space.
So I was told that you wanted that stickiness on the bottom, that cross.
Yeah, come on.
There you go. Here's the pressure. All over the plate. Very. Can you see? Are you
Yes, I
happy with
can.
that?
Yeah.
So let's get some of that, complete with some tree branches in there. Don't worry, it's just a bit of time. Very, very authentic. Let's get that in there. Clean that plate up a little bit for you. That's what we do in the restaurant.
Oui, chef.
Like it never happened. Perfect little bit of lemon on there, Charlie. Would you like to rip some parsley over
Yeah,
for
I'd
the
love to.
finish?
So a little
Look
bit
at that, the smell coming off there is so beautiful. The caramelization in that chorizo as well has been very forgiving in the chicken as well. So don't worry if you went a little bit far, you got the sweet onions and peppers just to back that up. And that sweet, tangy, deep, layered stock. So Charlie, that's for you. Let me grab this bread out.
Desperately running out of space.
That's okay. And straight away, feel that, just to give confidence at home for you guys, just about to do that. Beautiful artisanal loaf there.
Go on, perfect.
There we go. Shall I give it a little rub?
Oh yeah, well, it wants to do a somersault.
In true style, let's break bread. Let's pop some of that there. Some on the plate. Absolutely delicious.
Come on, tell us.
We've got to start. We've got the spicy fava beans from Brindisi, incredible. The Baiotto Iberico, black hooved, incredible Gucci style salchichon paleta. We've got the churros, artisanal. You thought I went wrong, but you are wrong when you try that because it's artisanal and delicious with the beautiful dulce de leche dip. We've got the asparagus, which is now what we call it the Catalonian grass.
Yes.
With the Spanish white anchovies, the Gordal manzanilla olives with a beautiful paprika crumb to finish. The one and only paella. It wouldn't be Spain without it, especially this region. And how can we pronounce this in any way, shape or form, apart from just saying get stuck in, guys. It's delicious. It's peppers, it's padron, it's romesco, and it's dirty cheese on top. I hope you enjoy it.
Oh wow, oh brilliant. Look, I'm hovering with my fork. Can I just try a little bit of the
I'm going to go as well. I want the experience
of the paella. Oh, sorry, I'm coming in there.
Got a bit of tree on there, I think.
I do.
Sorry about that.
Even the tree tastes good.
Authentic.
Knockout. So good.
Absolute dream.
Yeah, and washed down with some fabulous wines too, and of course the Montsant, which is this delicious red and natural wine. Have a go on that. That will really knock your socks off, I assure you.
It smells delicious.
Well, there we go, folks. Thank you very much indeed for joining us this evening for our adventure in Catalonia. Wow, what a feast, and I hope you enjoy your dinner tonight. Don't forget to post your photographs of your creations using the hashtag #CookWithRocket and tag us at Cook's Tour. That's the one, and tag a Cook's Tour. There is a competition. Get those photos in, and then Ryan will judge who's going to get a free box to our next destination. Please tell your friends and family all about us, and we hope to see you very, very soon. Thank you for joining, and good night.
Good night.